Big East basketball fans, we are here for day 3 of the Big East tournament from the New Yorker in NYC. I'm here with my friend Casey Matthews in a tournament that has proven anything can happen, as last night showed us. Casey, what are your initial thoughts here in day 3, semifinal day?
My initial thoughts are Friday of the Big East tournament is the best day, and I hate that my Jays aren't in it. That's my first thought. But that being said, I think we are in store for one. We have 2 really cool storylines, which we're going to get into. But I think we're just in store for a really good day of hoops. Me and you are going to check out the city a little bit. Hopefully, do a little bit of man on the street stuff. We'll get Cap in action. But the Big East tournament never disappoints, ever, and this year that has remained true. So I'm just excited to be in the building. I want to feel the energy of the Seton Hall fan base, of the Georgetown fan base, 2 fan bases that have really kind of gone through it over the last few years, but really over the last month. I mean, you look, Seton Hall was on the bubble, maybe even not even on the bubble, really projected to be in the tournament. Remember the rank Seton Hall movement not that long ago. And then now they're fighting for their life, and I think they have to win this one to even still be in position to be in position. And then you have a Georgetown team that was left for dead just 2 weeks ago, couldn't finish a game, couldn't put somebody away, but has lost so many close games over the course of the season. And really people starting to doubt Ed Cooley. Can he do it? Can he turn this thing around? And now he's playing for a chance to go to a championship game in Madison Square Garden and kind of, I don't want to say vindicate himself, but almost be able to put up the middle finger a little bit and say, hey guys, like, I'm pretty good at this. I know what I'm doing. So it's going to be really exciting. Again, I hate that my Jays aren't in it, but I'll still be there. And we'll be there, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, our Jays and Muskies aren't in it, Casey, but this isn't like an old Big East Final Four here, semifinal. I mean, you've got these 2 matchups are just so Big East. Seton Hall, St. John's, classic Big East matchup, and then Georgetown, UConn, maybe the 2 biggest brands in the league. So it is, I think, a very big semifinal for the Big East Conference and for the entire group. And I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see these 2 fan bases clash. And we can get started with the Seton Hall St. John's matchup, which we're talking about right now. But when you look at these 2 teams, obviously they're in much different places. You have Seton Hall scratching and clawing to get a bid. And it looks like, I mean, they were the 4th best team in the Big East, which I don't think is going to be enough this year as we look at how this league lays out this season. Right there, but not quite enough. So they're going to have to keep winning. And when you look at St. John's, I think their narrative is, in my opinion, I think Rick Pitino wants to be the man in this conference, and it's a 2-headed race. It's Dan Hurley, it's Rick Pitino. I think they're both very competitive with each other, and I think right now both of those guys are trying to be the alpha, if I'm reading the room correctly. And I think Rick Pitino is ready. He's been at what is this, his 3rd year, 4th year?
Dude, I should know that.
We should know it. It's weird that I don't know off the top of my head, but it's either 3 or 4. But it feels like to me, Rick Pitino is saying, like, okay, I've had my time. I'm Rick Pitino. This is my conference now. I think that's where he wants to be. And I think Dan Hurley has other plans, as we all know. I'm the guy now. I've won my championships. I'm a big dog now. I'm not at Rhode Island. I'm winning championships at UConn. You know what I mean? As I did get to talk crap to Dan Hurley last night, which was pretty awesome. He was walking out and they smacked my Muskies last night, Case. You know that. And so I saw it as an opportunity. I interviewed my Xavier guys. If you want me to tell a story now, I can. And so, well, you know me, man. I'm just going to take advantage of any opportunity. If I see John Fanta, I'm going to shake John Fanta's hand. If you know what I mean? I'm not going to, if I see Billy Blue Jay in the lobby, I'm going to smack him on the head. So I'm like, Dan Hurley's going to walk this way. And so he walks out, and he was a great sport. He was awesome last night with the dead dog stuff. Just giving 21-year-old journalists hell in the media room. As he walks out, and I'm like, hey, thanks for the ass kicking. And he goes, you're welcome. Like, he loved it. Like, he loved that I said that. He's like, oh, you're welcome. And then, he's a Bengals fan. I'm from Cincinnati. So I'm like, who they though, right? And then he just gets, I see his face light up. And he starts going off about the Bengals. And, like Max Crosby, his trade didn't go through to the Ravens. He starts just chopping it up about like the weeds of the Bengals. And I'm like trying to break to him. I really don't care about the Bengals. And then so I break his heart. I'm like, F you and F the Bengals. And he's like, all right, F you too. And all this. So it was funny, but he was like in jest. Like, it was cool. You know what I mean? And Dan Hurley was really freaking cool, actually, which was awesome. And I think you saw this too, like, and we can dive into everything else, but it just being behind the scenes at the Big East tournament was so cool because those press conferences are cool. Yeah. Like, the way the coaches carry themselves is pretty dang awesome. Like, I thought Ed Cooley was great. I thought they all carry themselves in their own unique way, and it's like having a front row seat to it's really cool.
Yeah, it was neat. I think Dan, for me, kind of stole the show.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good lines last night, which we'll save, I guess, for our conversation with Mark. Mark's going to join us for the UConn preview. I want to go back. One, that story is hilarious, and I think Mark needs to hear that one. But I want to go back to kind of what you were talking about, Rick Pitino versus Dan Hurley. And I don't think it's really even up for debate, even with the Big East championship, tournament championship last year. St. John's won. They won the regular season. I still don't believe you can, in good faith, say that this is St. John's conference. I still believe, in my heart, UConn's going to win this thing. And I think most people think they're going to win this thing. I still get the vibe, as just kind of being around in the city, being around St. John's fans, that they still feel like they're the underdog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That they're the ones that are playing with more of a chip on their shoulder, and versus the Huskies, as really, even though they're the 2 seed, it's like, hey, we really pissed down our legs the other day. We should be the 1 seed and coming in here, and everybody should be talking about us playing at noon. And so I understand exactly what you're saying about him feeling like this is his chance. And I really hope for the league, for basketball fans, to get a Big East tournament championship, St. John's, UConn.
Yeah, theater.
Because then, to me, if St. John's can beat UConn, and we'll preview that tomorrow, hopefully, then I do think the narrative flips. Mm-hmm. Then I do believe it's okay. They've officially asserted themselves as the leader in this Big East clubhouse. So, but in terms of this game, because they've got to get through Seton Hall first. Our Seton Hall fans, aka Brian, is probably mad at us right now. We're 8 minutes in, and
to catch up on, man.
And we haven't even talked about Seton Hall. So, and this is just thinking through this. This is the 3rd season of Pitino.
Okay. Wow.
Officially.
Only 3 years.
Well, yeah, I've been out of it. I've been out of it. This is my 3rd season out of it, and I never went against him. Yeah. So this matchup today, these two teams have played tough twice in the regular season. It's easy, I think, to look at number 1 seed St. John's at home, be like, they're going to roll them. And admittedly, I kind of think they are. But in fairness, they've played tough this year, and there's a couple keys to me that I wanted to break down, and what really matters in this game. And when you look at their style of play, everybody talks about Seton Hall and their defense, which they should. Fantastic defense, number 12 in the nation in Ken Palm defense. But what's funny is in conference, and just in conference play, they're the number 3 defensive efficiency team in the league. The number 1 defensive efficiency team in the league is St. John's. Okay. St. John's gives up 70 points a game. Seton Hall gives up 65. Okay. St. John's plays a little bit faster, so there's more possessions in the game, which is why their efficiency numbers are still better. The other thing is, here's what Seton Hall does really, really well defensively. They turn you over. The number 1 team in our league at forcing turnovers, and they're the number 1 team in our league in offensive rebounding. Why does that matter? Well, flip the page. St. John's, they don't turn it over. They're the number 1 offensive team in not turning it over at only 13% of their possessions. they also don't give up offensive rebounds. They're the best defensive rebounding team in the league.
Something's got to give.
Something has to give. And to me, that's where it will be interesting to see how these two coaches manage their rosters tonight. Dylan Darling has been for a little cliche, a darling in New York. Okay. Can you trust him with the ball in his hands with Bud Clark on him?
Yeah.
The entire way up the court. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. Coach Pitino definitely knows better than I do. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But in this time, what do you do? Like if you're St. John's, it's a close game, and Dylan Darling is handling the ball and having a hard time, which there's no indication that he will, right? Like I just said it. They don't turn the ball over, and he's played plenty. But can he handle the pressure that's going to come? Because the only way that, to me, Seton Hall hangs around and potentially wins this game is if what we just said, something's got to give. It's got to give for them. They've got to find a way to turn St. John's over and get out in transition and score easy baskets, because they're in the half court. Seton Hall doesn't shoot it well. We know that.
Yeah.
In the second game in New Jersey, just a week or two ago, they hit 1-3 the entire game. They're 1 for 11. Okay, lost by 7 points. But in game one, St. John's only hit 2.
Wow.
That was here in MSG. So, there's a lot of contrasting styles. What are your thoughts so far about what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think everything makes sense, but I just feel like if you do speed St. John's up, I mean, they've got dudes, man. Like, that is a team that can get downhill in a hurry quick and get some momentum going and get the garden going, and then it might be over. Like if they get this garden going and get the fans behind them, like I think St. John's is one of those teams that can go on one of those little runs in 2, 3, 4 minutes, and you're like, where'd the game go? So I think it could get ugly quick. They've just got dudes. Yeah, they've got dudes everywhere. So I don't know. And then, I wonder what they do inside with Zub, and it's going to be a monster, bro. Biggest player of the year, something that you did agree with. Yeah. One of the committee decisions we did agree with. No, but I think it's going to be an interesting battle where something's got to give, and I am interested to see how Pitino uses his guys. I think he sticks with Darling personally. I think Darling's Pitino's guy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at what do you need against that pressure,
yeah,
the athleticism, is lacking a little bit there,
for sure.
So, do you end up almost going more with with your other guys instead of? Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know, because I don't know that he has a ton of value off the ball.
I agree. Yeah.
Very good player, not in any way insinuating that he's not. I just don't know where his value comes in this matchup.
Right.
There's other matchups where absolutely you can have him on the court even off the ball, but in this matchup, the pressure that Seton Hall is going to bring, that's my only concern. And again, I'm just trying to find something that I would be concerned. I'm really not saying that.
You're kind of,
you know what I mean? It's what could Seton Hall do? I'm not saying that this is a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of if I'm Shaheen, what am I looking at? Like what am I trying to figure out of how do I create an advantage?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's where I would look at, because
I tend to agree.
If you can pressure the ball, keep them what we refer to as out of operating areas. Okay, so a little extended past the 3-point line. It makes the entry pass harder to Zuby. It makes it harder to run your offense. And, so you have to try to identify how you can do that and how you can keep them from
talking about Shaheen playing defense himself or his team playing defense?
His team. Yeah, his team.
Because he plays a lot of defense himself, too.
Occasionally.
Both feet get on the playing floor from time to time.
There's plenty. There's him and Shaka do a great job of that. Especially when the ball's in the corner.
That's exactly
right. That's a 6
Get off the court.
That's a 6 defender out there. The last point on this one, the thing I'm maybe more fascinated about is which star imposes their will on this game. Zuby, obviously, or Bud, and that to me will be the deciding factor in this one. Zuby, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists a game.
Per Coach Pitino, had a bad game. Or not a bad game, but he's like, he didn't play well.
those numbers I just gave you, he leads his team in all three of those major categories as a 5. That's incredible. Or it just tells you that they don't do a very good job of sharing the ball and creating assists, one or the other. Bud, 12.5 points, 5 assists, 2 steals a game, leads his team in all three of those categories, right? So who can impose their will on this game? That to me will decide it. 2 bona fide stars, two of the best players in this conference, 2 guys that admit they deserve to be on the stage, representing their school, representing their families, and I think they both have a great opportunity here to assert themselves. I think you look back at last year's St. John's teams. I mean, Zuby was a stud then, but there was a guy, I don't know if you remember, named RJ Lewis, that was also a stud, and he carried that team and unfortunately beat my Jays in the championship. And I sat there and watched him sit on top of the rim after the game with the crown on his head. It was brutal. But because of RJ, I think Zuby hasn't got the shine until this year, and now this is definitely his team, and they look for him to lead it. I'm going to go ahead and get to prediction. I believe St. John's wins this one. I don't think it's a 2-point game like it was of the day. I think St. John's wins. I think I don't know what the line was, like 11 maybe. Is that 11? Maybe I'm wrong here. That much? No, I got to be wrong.
I would guess, if you want to play the guessing game, what would your Casey line be? I'm guessing what the line's going to be.
I'm guessing what's going to be 4.5.
4.5? Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say like 6.5.
Holy cow, it's 8.5.
8.5. Ooh.
8.5.
That feels hot.
Wow, Brian, I hope you heard that. I gave Seton Hall a lot more credit than Vegas.
Don't blame it on us.
I think I'm taking St. John's on that.
You would take it?
I think I am.
Give me Seton Hall. Give me Seton Hall.
Brian, sorry, I'm taking St. John's plus or minus the points. And
I agree with you that St. John's wins, but I'm not all in on that though. Like I'm in the camp of like, if Seton Hall wins this, I'm not surprised. Okay. Like I'd be slightly surprised, but I'm not shocked. Like I think Shaheen is a maniac. And I think his team is going to play like maniacs tonight. And I think, like you said, they could muck this thing up. I think and this is what I'm excited for, Casey, is semifinals at the Big East tournament. Like, and is way more than I do. Like this thing builds, and both fan bases have been great. And I'm really excited for these two to clash. I feel like these two are going to be great. And I think it could get mucked up, and Shaheen's a demon. Like he's a demon, dude. Like, and they're scratching for their lives, and I think he's done such a good job at Seton Hall, by the way, too. Big year for them, I think, for that program.
You just said something that kind of prompted something else in my mind, too, that, yesterday was Shaheen's first win in the Big East tournament. Mm-hmm. That's part of why I really didn't think that I thought, I told him that. Yeah, like, really? Yeah. I thought Creighton was gonna win yesterday. That wasn't a homer pick. It was just I really thought in this setting, with some days to prepare, I thought the Jays would win, but they couldn't shoot, and it didn't work. But in a Friday night, I cannot wait for you to be in the building. It's so much fun. I've been on the sideline for it, and it's you just find yourself kind of looking around like, I can't believe I'm here on a Friday night at the Big East tournament.
I'm thinking about the environments we were last night. I'm like, how are we going to beat that?
Right. Oh, it'll be smashed. But being in that building, it's special. It feels different. I'm just telling you, it feels different. The city's going to feel different. I think a lot of it's Friday night. There's a lot of energy going into the weekend. But the stakes are raised. And for me, Coach Pitino is on my Mount Rushmore easily. Like he might be number 1 all time. And
basketball coaches?
Yeah.
Basketball coaches?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Might be.
I mean, you can make the case for sure.
Yeah. But so Friday night in Madison Square Garden with the player of the year in Zuby, Yeah, I'm pretty solid on my St. John's pick.
And I agree. I think that St. John's wins, but I'm not saying it's a runaway game. I'm going to say it's going to be a good game. I think down to maybe the 4, 5, 6 minute mark. I think at some point St. John's gets a run, and then I think they close this thing in the 4 to 8 margin by the end of the game, hit free throws, that kind of thing. But nothing would shock me here. Nothing would shock me here, and we saw that anything can happen in this tournament. I thought that the score last night of the Georgetown Villanova game was going to be what it was, just flipped. I thought it was going to be Villanova beats Georgetown by about 15, not the alternative. Anything can happen, man. If the 11 seed Georgetown can go to the semis of this thing, hey, let's go.
You want to kind of get us out? We're gonna take a little break.
Cool.
And then we'll come back in a little bit with Mark. Break down Georgetown, UConn.
Yes, sir. We will be back for more action from the Big East tournament at the New Yorker. Stay there.
We got to do that. Instead of going to break right now, let's give our shout outs to the New Yorker. We're here. They just set up a table for us. You can kind of see we got some buildings behind us here.
Beautiful city behind us.
Beautiful city, New York. I don't know if you guys could hear the sirens and the horns, but it's been going crazy back there. Walked this morning, got my New York bagel. Just felt the energy. You know what I mean? Just out there, the smells of New York City sometimes are good.
How's the Big Capitol treating you?
The Big Capitol, it's a heck of a place. But no, anyway, if you're coming to New York ever, not just for the Big East tournament, if you're coming to visit, check out the New Yorker. It's a great little hotel. It's nice. The people here are wonderful to work with.
Anyone who would do us a favor is nice.
Yeah, it's right across the street from Madison Square Garden. We walk out, we are in the building within 5 minutes. There's no other hotel in New York that you can do that with. So check out the New Yorker. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed last night, Cap was wearing his home field apparel Xavier jacket. Thing is sweet, even for a guy that hates Xavier. It's a nice jacket.
Left and right about that puppy.
So home field apparel. That is true. If you didn't see that video, check out our social media. The official Xavier University Twitter.
That institution's going down.
Tweeted it. It was awesome. But homefieldapparel.com is our network sponsor. And they're just a great partner, and they produce really good, comfortable gear, really quality gear. We've got some comments on some of our comments about the prices. Are the prices cheap? No, they're not. But you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for, and if you want the most comfortable gear, if you want the throwback stuff that really very few people are out wearing, go to homefieldapparel.com. You're gonna pay a premium for premium quality stuff. So. Homefieldapparel.com. Check them out. We'll be back for you guys in just like a second with Mark, and we'll break down UConn.
Surprise. UConn's back, baby. Semis. What's up, Casey and Cap in the Big Apple, NYC? I am very happy to be here. Let's go.
The Big Capitol. We can't get rid of UConn. They keep on coming. We can't get rid of them. But we're here, man. This is semi-final day. Mark Zanetto. I don't know if I'm ready yet. I was honestly in the bathroom, full disclosure, and it hit me in my head. I was like, this is Friday night, semi-final day in New York, Madison Square Garden. I think it was one of those trips to the bathroom that just kind of clears your brain. You know what I mean? A lot was cleared. And I'm a new man now. And I've realized, hey, I got to get my energy right. This is Friday night in the Big East.
It's amazing, Mark, how different Cap and I are.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Because we start thinking about semifinal Friday. I'm thinking about the matchups. I'm thinking about Julius versus Terrace.
Remember yesterday when I asked you, do you have any more basketball thoughts? You're like, this is a basketball podcast, I'm pretty sure.
I'm thinking about Julius versus Terrace. I'm getting excited. I'm thinking about Ed Cooley versus Dan Hurley. I'm thinking about the first time since 1994 that 4 inaugural Big East teams are in the semis.
That's right.
My man Cap's like, I got to get to the bathroom and think about this game.
I'm thinking about talking crap, no pun intended, to Dan Hurley. That's what I'm thinking about, which I got to do last night, which was awesome.
Hey, tell that story really quick.
Yeah.
How you had a conversation with Dan Hurley.
Yeah, I told him last night real quick on the podcast last night because they were, these maniacs last night, Case, like I was going to listen to what they talked about because, they're awesome. They're my guys. And I'm like, they're still alive. So, and the Zoom link was still in the text thread. So I'm like, shit, I'll jump in there. Let's go. So I jump in and I just start, I was, how I am. I hopped up on Mountain Dew over here. So my eyes are dilated, like crazy. I'm just Dan Early and Trey Carroll, and I'm just going the heck off. It was so fun.
He told us a story, and we're kind of talking this in general a little bit ago, but Dan's the best. But he
cool.
did has anybody told you the dog story?
What dog story?
Yeah, he was dogging these young journalists.
No, the dog. Yeah, well, this one's also good for any UConn fans. You'll love this one. I didn't see this on Twitter or anything yet, but there's a dude sitting next to me, and he does radio for like a Long Island radio station.
Okay.
And he's talking to me, and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to tell Coach Hurley that I named my dog after him." And
yeah. Okay, keep going.
So the kid's like, the press conference wraps up. He was trying to ask a question. They never called on him, poor guy. And so they wrap up. Dan stands up, and the kid goes, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's a dude. So the guy goes, "Coach, I named my dog after you, in all seriousness." And Dan stops. He's like, "Hurley?" And I said, "Yeah, I named it Hurley." So then Dan follows up, and he goes, "What kind of dog is it?" And he said, it's a Shorkie. It's a mix between a Shih Tzu and a Yorkie. Dan goes, "Really?" He's like, I had a Yorkie." The guy responds, "Really? Seriously?" Dan responds, "Yeah, it died." And he walks out. He walks out of the press conference, and it was hysterical. The whole room lost it. So,
dude, I thought Dan was gonna go Dumb and Dumber. He's like, "Who successfully got a bulldog and a Shih Tzu together? We call it a bullshit," and then just walk out. Dude, Dan's the best, man. Like, shout out, big Larry, who's a Twitter UConn guy. He also has a dog named Hurley, and he puts it out there all the time. Like, he's like, "Hurley and I are going for a walk," and like, yeah, so that's wild. He'll love to hear that. That is too funny that someone was like, "Hey, I named my dog after you."
Yeah,
just so random. I love it.
Good for him to even tell Coach he did that. That was fun. I didn't know what his response was going to be, but
what would have been the look, Casey? What would have been the look on Bobby Mullen's face if I yelled that to Coach Hurley? Do you think he would have immediately tackled me, or what would have been the response?
I think he would have had his hands over your mouth before you got a question out, but probably.
So. No more questions. No more questions.
Well. So. But in the spirit of Cap, let's talk basketball. Yeah. Cap's itching over here to talk hoops. So yeah,
I'll start us off.
That's your key today.
When Solo plays like Han Solo and not Solomon Ball, when he plays like the dude, this team is so tough because the action that they ran last night against Xavier, it was almost like I'll give you a pseudo gaming football analogy. It's almost like when you play Madden and you have crossing routes and they all bump into each other and you have open guys where you can throw to. And the defense has no idea where that ball is being set up for. They use that with Solo a lot. They use Mullins as a decoy a lot in some of these pin downs. And when Solo comes off those screens, like he was open and he could do whatever he wanted. He could shoot the three. He could go down and dump it down to Eric or Terrace. When they get that action going and they get the freedom of movement that Dan has been talking about all year, hopefully it continues tonight. They're tough to beat, man. There's just too many options. And that's the way I look at this game tonight. I told Casey pre-show, Cap, that I don't love the matchup against Georgetown because they remind me of St. John's Light, where they're physical, they get in your face, they're going to try to bully you to a certain extent. They got a lot of swagger, that's part of the Ed Cooley kind of genre. And or the aura of Ed Cooley. So like they're going to try to bully UConn and try to stay in this game early. If they're in the game with the first 10, 15 minutes, like before halftime, it's going to be a really close game. If UConn starts off like they did against Xavier, it's lights out for Ed Cooley, Steph Curry style. That's my analysis.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I because I know what you're saying with Coach Cooley and the way he runs his teams. I just feel like it's very hard to bully this UConn team.
St. John's does it?
Fair, but
I also, with the exception of that one game.
But I guess I think they're in a different category than Georgetown. To me, it's funny because you're going a different direction than I thought you would with it. I I had my key as Terrace, and I think that Terrace Reed is an absolute animal. And to me, if he asserts, like, the first 5 minutes of the game last night set the tone for that game of, sorry guys, you're just not on our level.
Yeah.
And and I would imagine that same type of tone could be set tonight. I know they played a 2-point game and a 4-point game, and I'm probably just glossing over that a little too much. But I think UConn is fired up. I think that losing the way they did to Marquette and losing the number 1 seed, they talked about it in the press conference about last night. I think it really did kind of refocus these guys to say, okay, like, this can be done. This can all be over in one game.
How about my guy Jaden Ross? How great did he play last night?
Yeah, phenomenal. The whole team just looked really inspired, and like they were here for a reason. Now, couple that with, this is the 3rd game in 3 days for Georgetown, and and so, and it's not like they've played finesse teams. They've played a physical DePaul team. They played a physical Villanova team. That wears on you, and certainly you get a boost of energy just being in the building on Friday night. But
there's something about this Big East tournament, Casey. Like, think about it. Like, all the history before there was that NC State team a couple years ago that made the run in the ACC tournament of 5 days, 5 games and 5 nights. There was the Cardiac Kemba, 5 games and 5 nights in the Big East. That was monstrous. Like, the amount of teams that they played. They beat a Louisville team. They beat a Georgetown team, a Syracuse team. Like, they just ran through that tournament, and everyone kept on saying, well, they got to be this fourth game in 4 days. The run's going to stop now. No, it's a 5th game. Like, it sometimes when shit is destined, and maybe that happens to Georgetown. I'm not kind of shitting on that and saying, like, there's no way that's happening. You'll know pretty quickly whether this Georgetown team is game tonight, because to your point, I think UConn's going to come out guns blazing. But if Georgetown hangs with them, they shoot it the way they shot it in Stores. They kind of like show that physical presence. You're right. Terrace is a key to a lot of things for UConn. But I'm going off of history, which tells me your bigs are important. But in order for you to make that next jump to being elite, your guards, Solo, Braylon, Silas, they have to close the games. You cannot expect your bigs to get the ball down low when all of that traffic is going on and essentially close games out. You need scorers on the perimeter to augment that. And that's why, to me, the guard play is key. Solo being one of them. If he's solo ball, then we're in great shape. If he's, then we're going to be going, well, I guess we have a 2 seed and we'll see what happens in the tournament. But I that's my biggest issue is, like, I love Terrace, but he can't be the main cog for UConn to win the national championship or the Big East tournament.
Yeah. It's interesting. Guards win tournaments. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think my thought process is more of establishing
with that.
the pace, not only the pace, but just saying, this is how this game is going to be played. We are going to determine how this game is going to be played. And I think the way you do that is by establishing pretty early on, like, we're the big brother, and I think you do that with Terrace. But I certainly agree. I mean, Solo has to be what we all thought he was and is, in order for UConn to reach their potential and kind of the level that we all expected them to reach. But no, I think it's, God, this is another one where I feel like UConn is the vastly superior team.
They are, but that doesn't mean that the matchup is great.
Yeah,
they were the vastly superior team most games this year.
Yeah.
Like, I just think for me, like, I need this UConn team in Cap. This is up your alley, right? It's another Sylvester Stallone. It's not Rambo. We're not co-opting Rambo. But what I'd want is, I need the Lincoln Hawk over the top version of UConn.
You might be too young for that.
I need them to give me one of these where they're walking up and then he turns his hat like this and it's fucking go time. I need their machine. Like, I need that. I don't need the cuddly Sylvester Stallone that we see today, like when he's with his daughters on reality TV. I need fucking Sly Stallone, Rambo, Lincoln Hawk, Rocky, beat that ass. I need Georgetown like done.
I'm not
I
worried
need-
about
I need-
UConn being cuddly tonight, if I'm being honest with you.
What's that?
I don't think UConn's going to be very cuddly tonight, if I'm being real.
No, you
with
don't think Terrace is going to be a cuddly bear? You think he's gonna
I
be a
would
grizzly?
not. I'm going to say a direct quote. I would not cuddle with Terrace Reed tonight, personally.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to
quote the Grinch.
What did you say, Mark?
I don't think anyone wants to cuddle with him. I think we want it. You know,
Well, there's some people out there that
Let me
want to
nip- let
cuddle
me
with
nip
Terrace
this.
Reed.
Let me nip this before
nobody on this stream. Let's just put it that way.
But I mean, you were in the press conference last night. What was Dan Hurley's vibe? Do you think? Because he seemed happy last night. Do you? Because I think of like Kobe. Remember when they went up like 3-0 or 2-0, and he's like, "What's their smile about?" Like when job's not finished. What vibe do you get from Dan Hurley right now?
You know, this is part of why I love Dan. Is I think the moment is this moment, but I don't think he's making it bigger than it needs to be. I think he is. In my opinion, it's this. If my players don't understand what's on the line,
Right,
and how hard it's going to be to get it done, there's nothing I can do at this point to help them understand that. If I haven't prepared them well enough over the course of this season to help them understand where we are and what's at stake, then I failed. And he knows he hasn't failed, so I think he just has extreme confidence in this team. But I also think he's smart to where he knows what each team, like what his team needs. I mean, the great coaches have their fingerprint or their thumbprint on their team. And if he gets tight and comes across as almost like stressed, I think he knows that your team can take that on. I don't think you want that. And
I think they want that confident bully mentality.
Which, Mark, we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
And I'd love your perspective on this. We're walking around, we're in the arena seeing people and just kind of even being around the teams a little bit in the press conference rooms. Mm-hmm. It's still, even though UConn's the 2 in this tournament, it still feels like UConn is the favorite and that St. John's kind of has the chip on their shoulder right now.
I mean, betting wise, they are. They're the betting favorite. So you could have got plus money for St. John's to start the tournament. I think it was like plus 200. So you could, double your money on $100 bet or almost like, I think, what was that, like 100, you'd win 300. So like you'd get an extra 100 off of that. So I'm not, my math wasn't mathing initially, but yeah, I mean, they definitely are the betting favorite. I think they're minus 110 to start, which is basically just means, you lose like $10 on $100 bet. So you win 90. So that makes sense. I think St. John's has the chip because the last time they played, they scored 42 points, and they look like a CYO team playing a men's varsity high school team. It was just like a middle school team versus a high school team, and that had to embarrass Patino. I guarantee it, because he didn't do the press conference. So like that just shows that he was just like, I don't even want to talk about this shit. Like, we're done. So like, there's just different mentalities there. So I think for me, UConn's always going to be the favorite until St. John's consistently wins. Winning back-to-back regular season championships is congratulations. I mean, it's a great feat. Like, I'm not taking anything away, but you cannot have a seat at the big boy table until you start doing it consistently. Like, if you look at, Georgetown's got a seat at the table. They've got 8 championships in the Big East. I think there's like 4 conference tournaments. Like, I forget what the number is, but St. John's total between regular season and tournament is like 4, maybe 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. So they're still not at that, for having a Thanksgiving table, they're still over at the kids table. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of it too, is like they want to reestablish themselves, especially in New York, dude. Like, come on. If you're in the city and you have Madison Square Garden as a pseudo home court for you during the year, outside of Carnesecca, you're trying to tell me that you're not going to have a chip on your shoulder because these motherfuckers from Connecticut are coming down here thinking they own this place? Dude, if I was a St. John's alum, or if I was a St. John's fan, I would 1000% have a chip on my shoulder, because it was just like, oh, so we're going to win back-to-back regular season titles and you still aren't going to give us credit. F you. we're coming in hot. Like that's how I would feel.
So I love that, and I think that we're thinking the same way on this, because I don't. What did I say, Cap? Until St. John's beats UConn in this tournament, I still really believe that it's like you said, you're the little brother, and even though they won the tournament last year, they beat my Jays. We don't have to rehash that. They didn't beat UConn. And until they beat UConn in the championship game, it just feels like it's still UConn's conference, and deservedly
what if Seton
so.
Hall wins?
Well, if Seton Hall wins tonight, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't.
If Seton Hall wins, are they a tournament team, Casey?
I still think they.
Not quite.
Gosh,
how could they not be though?
Well,
They should be.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
but
they're still, even after yesterday, which again, I mean, Creighton's metrics aren't good enough to move the needle, but I still think they probably have to beat UConn or Georgetown in the championship to get in, unfortunately. But
I mean, there's different bracketologists. Number one, if you look at bracket matrix for all, because the way I look at college basketball coverage, and this is for everybody who listens to us, like, we're definitely going to be here for you for Big E stuff, but also like just around college basketball, there are certain bracketologists that you should pay attention to, and there's certain that you should just kind of just like not pay attention to. One, and this is no disrespect, I'm sure he's a good dude, Joe Lunardi is not a good bracketologist. He's just not. Like, he comes in, they're just like 117 guys who do this, and he's typically in the bottom 10 of that, like in terms of accuracy. Like, trust me, these guys, whether we're talking about Rocco Miller, we're talking about other bracketologists that do this, they all like have a competition, and whoever gets the highest, like, they get something for it, and it's on Bracket Matrix. And Joe is not in that mix. He's employed by ESPN. Good for him. He has a big platform. Good for him. Just don't listen to him. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, so he's there. Seton Hall is nowhere near the mix with him. Mike DeCourcy, he's a little bit better. He's still not one of the top ones, but I think he had Seton Hall in like his next four out currently. And it's mostly because everybody on the bubble is losing. Like, you cannot, account for that. Like, Seton Hall just won a game, neutral floor against Creighton by double digits. This wasn't like a squeaker. We just, went the buzzer. A 10-point win, quad two, right? Quad two win. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're getting that win, what's better, a quad two win by 10 or a quad one loss? You're fifth in a row and you're playing the SEC. Who gives a shit? You're not good. You lose. You constantly lose. Why are you even in the consideration? I don't get that. I that's the one thing about the bubble that I'll never understand.
Yeah, I'd love for Seton Hall to be in it. So we're clear there, even though I'm kind of on record as being a Seton Hall hater right now.
You are. It's okay.
But I'd love for them to be in. But yeah, I mean, hey, we're gonna find out. I don't think I think it's gonna be kind of a moot point, because I don't think they can.
You're
they can
not
hang.
buying Seton Hall at all.
No,
He's not. None. Giving them nothing.
no.
Speaking
Nothing.
of giving them nothing, Vegas is giving Georgetown nothing.
Yeah, it's
15
like
and a half point dogs.
Yeah.
I would like to just gauge where both of you guys are at. Cover or no? 15 and a half. Georgetown, UConn. Where are you guys at?
Yeah, I'm taking UConn.
Okay.
Good thing you don't bet, Casey. Let's just put it that way. Let me ask you a question. What were the scores in both games this year?
The score, I don't know. Game 1, UConn won by 2. Game 2, UConn won by 4.
Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, if you're Vegas, why are you giving UConn 15 and a half points here? I think it's a sucker bet. I think it is.
Well, was it? Let me see. I don't have it in front of me.
Because it was literally that for both games on the road and home. Somewhere
That
between
was
13
it
and
was a
15.
similar line.
Oh, 1,000%.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. Let's see here. I have one thing I want to check, but I didn't realize the line was that big in both those other games. But yeah, part of it though is because no KJ Lewis. KJ had 24 in game 2, so that probably factors somewhat into it.
To me, it's less about that than it's more about, again, it's just matchup based. No disrespect to Cap Xavier, a 20-point spread against them, I bet UConn, because they feel they're comfortable against Xavier. It showed, and there's a history. Both those games, home and at home, or by 20 plus points. I think the spread last night was 19 and a half.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times, Mark.
Check. That's a Sharpie. Okay. You play when we're playing Creighton at home, it was like a 12 or 13 point spread. Mm-hmm. I took Creighton because UConn just wasn't playing crisp. Like, and Mac has a history of that. Like, so you just have to look at stuff differently. It's like, yeah, I mean, all things being equal, should UConn win by 15, 16 points? Probably. But do you know that shit's not happening tonight? Like, this Georgetown team is coming in. They got nothing to lose. Ed's probably going to throw a couple of water bottles at them. Like, get your shit together. It's all going to be, it's literally going to be, you know, I'm going to, like, Ed Cooley's going to drop his nuts on the Big East floor and say, let's roll. Like, it's not going to be.
He's going to have to beat Owen to center court because Owens are going to be out there, just so we're clear.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Owen's walking around right now really chafed because I guarantee you that dude is wearing exercise pants today. Okay.
Colleen, don't clip any of these. Colleen, Diana, if don't
clip them. Big O. He asked a great question last night, by the way.
What?
I said Owen asked a great question last night. I think he's great. He's great in press conferences. He has a really distinct voice, and you know, it's crisp. There's no ums. It's really, really impressive for, you know, 17, 18-year-old kid.
He's the best, man. We're glad to have him around. That's for sure. He's been fun to hang out with here.
What's your prediction
for tonight?
No, with the presidential election, of course, for tonight.
I don't do politics.
That was the joke.
Well, I have.
Wait, no. Predict whether Cap is going to use the restroom before the show is over.
That's that's happening. It might be happening live.
Yep.
No, I mean, I think I got St. John's. I think they cover UConn. You're talking me out of it.
Dude, no, you pick what you want. You were right the last time we did this, and I think UConn won by, I think it was Butler earlier in the year when Butler had all their complement of players. It was like a 15.5 point spread, and UConn won by like 19. So I'm just telling you, like, that's the history.
I just, for me, I think Georgetown runs out of gas. I feel like it's such an emotional thing here, and Friday night, like Ed's done a really, really good job to get the team here to where they are right now. But I think they run out of gas tonight, and I think UConn pulls ahead and covers.
Cap?
It's so hard to say. It would not shock me one bit if this is just UConn Central here tonight on semifinal Friday, and they just go ape. And that's one thing that UConn can do is they can just nuke you. Like at any given time. I'm going to say Georgetown covers, though. I'm going to I still, if it was 10.5, I'd feel different. But at 15.5, I'm going to say Georgetown covers. I think we're going to have a great game in both games. But I do think UConn's eventually going to be able to pull this one out.
Yeah. What about, Cap, what about Seton Hall, St. John's? What you got there?
I am not in Casey's camp as the lone Seton Hall hater here. He hates him for coach of the year. I mean, you just do not like Seton Hall. He just does not like Seton Hall.
He's Paul out.
Just to be clear, I don't not like Seton Hall. Okay, I
liar.
Not what I've heard behind closed doors.
No, that's not true. I just don't think their team. I just don't think their team is a team.
It's 100% personal.
No, it's really not.
It's not personal.
I swear. I love them, but
this is a bit.
And also, it's a little bit of me and Brian. I have to hate on Seton Hall because I love getting Brian riled up. So I don't hate Seton Hall, but I just look, guys. I watched the St. John's teams. I just think they're so dominant when they are on, and it's Friday night in the Big East tournament. If you aren't on tonight,
and it just feels like we're on a crash course too for a certain blue team and a certain red team in this league.
That's where it is. Maybe that's where my heart is.
I think that's where his heart is.
That's what you want. As a college basketball fan, that's what Casey wants to see. He wants to see St. John's UConn round 3. But there's something weird about a team like Seton Hall, who is unconventional. They don't shoot a bunch of threes. They play real physical. They play great defense. They're essentially like a 90s version of playing in the 2020s,
That's
right?
So true. That's so true.
And so to me, where else is there a perfect place for them to pull an upset than Madison Square Garden, the home of the 90s Knicks that, you know, almost won a championship with all those Pat Riley teams and, you know, killing Jordan and all that stuff. I don't know, man. Like, there's something about Seton Hall tonight. I took St. John's in the under last time they played, and I won a good amount of money because I just don't love that matchup. But it's the Garden. It's Shaw. He won Coach of the Year. I think if Bud Clark stays out of foul trouble, if they can get a little bit of shooting, they got a puncher's chance. I'm going Seton Hall to cover. I don't think they're going to win, but I think that they're going to cover. It's 7.5. I think it's going to be a close game. I think St. John's will end up winning by about 5 or 6 points, but it's going to be a battle. And then I think UConn does not cover that 15.5. I think Georgetown comes out and just throws everything on the table. It's close at halftime. UConn pulls away to win by about 10 or 11 points late. But it's not going to be an easy game. I think it's going to feel like in jeopardy. Every UConn fan is going to feel like they're going to lose this game with like 7 minutes to go. That's the way I'm going to feel. And I hope I'm wrong about the second part. I hope I'm wrong about both. Fuck St. John's. Hope Seton Hall wins. How about that?
I hate to say it, but I agree with everything he just said. Dude, the best part was Casey was over here just fuming. You were talking about like Coach of the Year, Seton Hall. This is what I'm saying with Casey, bro. He was sitting there just like
look, first of all, everybody hurt me last night with the results because they made me look dumb. Which is fine. It's part of doing this. Sometimes.
But Casey, you're right. You were right about a lot of things this year, including St. John's finishing number 1. Hasn't been said on the show, at least by me, and acknowledging it. I am 100% acknowledging it. You were like, listen, UConn's going to be good at the start, but by the end of the year, I think St. John's is going to end up overtaking them. And you were right. They split, so in essence, like, I think UConn, if everything was equal, UConn would have won been the 1 seed. They would have shared the title. But as far as like who got this right, you were right. So everything I just said may sound good, but it may be completely wrong. St. John's going by 50 tonight, and then UConn going by 50, and then they could be playing tomorrow. So we'll see.
I appreciate you saying that. I do, and I think for me with the Coach of the Year, this is the last. I promise the last time we'll talk about it. I just have a hard time with. Like they both rebuilt their entire rosters. Everybody was like, "Oh, Shad."
Who's they both they built? You talking
Kevin
about
Villanova? And Willard was hired late because he had Maryland in the tournament, so he had less time and less of a pool to pull from. But also, like, they were 500 in league, and they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. And it's just, to me, it's hard. Last. I know that, but I mean, Villanova was picked what, 6th? Like. So
they were only up. They only went up 3 spots.
What I'm saying is, like, I absolutely get it. I do, and I get the whole like the NIL. I get all that stuff. But when you're talking about awards, you're talking about who was the best coach this year. I just don't see how you can say the best coach in this league this year was a team that was 500 in league. I agree. And that to me, like,
if they're expected to be the worst team in the league, and they go 500. And this year, league was down this year, so that put them in the top half of the league at 4 versus 11. That's a 7-place improvement. I'm just going to put it to you in the terms that I understand it, right? And then Villanova, same thing. If they were picked 6th and they were 3rd, they're only moving up 3 spots. So as far as like 7 and 3, 7 is greater than 3, and I think it's by quite a large amount because you still had, as much as the league was down this year, you still had a muchly improved DePaul team. You had a Xavier team that, even though they couldn't close out games, was game for most of the year. They played teams tough. You had dominant St. John's, dominant UConn, improved Villanova. I just think that what Shaw did with mostly mid-major talent versus no 5 stars like Villanova got with a Caden Lewis, like, you just can't. I don't think you can equate the two. Like, in terms of they remade their team. Like, it's okay. Okay, well, cars are the same, right? If we're going to say it's the same, I'll race my Pinto versus your Ferrari. They're the same, right? They're cars, right? It's the same. You turn a key and you go. Like, it's not the same. Like, to me, it's not the same. Like, Seton Hall's commitment to NIL may get better, but they committed nothing. They're the idea that they're in the middle of the pack in NIL engagement in the Big East is the biggest joke in the Big East. Like, if people are telling that, it's a lie. Like, it just is. I'll go on record and say that's bullshit, because it is. And like, how much did they give Bud Clark? Not a lot. Came from Maryland.
All that is very true. And I do understand that. I guess what I'm trying to say, though, is put 20 minutes or 40 minutes on the clock. My team versus your team. Who's the better coach? Who coached better this year?
That's not the award, though.
But it's coach of the year.
You're creating new criteria.
No, it's coach of the year. It's not.
I know, but it's coach of the year based off of your results, not based off. Well, exactly. Let's go in a sandbox and like draw up plays. Well, like that's not how it works.
That's what I'm saying. Based on results, they're 500 in league, and they lost both times to Villanova.
Where were they expected to be, Casey? That's the point.
But see, that to me doesn't matter.
But it mattered to all the other coaches that voted for him.
Well, then if that's the case, then no team that's picked first in the league, their coach should ever be able to win coach of the year.
If they were picked fifth and they won the tournament or won the league, then that's not true. Like it's about expectations versus the reality. That's all I'm trying to say.
You all have a different criteria of like what would be coach of the year.
That's certainly the criteria but part of the criteria. I'm acknowledging that. And I think that I'm also not saying that Shaw didn't do an unbelievable job. Exactly. I think he did a great job. All I'm saying is that when I'm voting and I'm looking at it, it's just so hard for me to look at this conference that I love and I think is the best basketball conference and go, the best coach this year won half his games.
It's like if for national coach of the year, it's not going to be a team that missed the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, and Seton Hall very well may miss the tournament. It just is strange to me. It's normally going to be your best team or maybe a team that, got second, that was right there. They were picked to get ninth and they get second, maybe. But like, it is weird. Like national coach of the year isn't going to be.
No, I think what it signals is just that like you are going to get credit now for having maybe a lack of resources and expectations and which is fine. Well, look, first of all, the people that voted are way more knowledgeable and better than me. Okay, let's be real clear. I mean, a guy that I love and put on, above everybody is Coach Mack. He voted for Shaw. So
right.
I'm not sitting here telling you that I know better. I'm just giving you my opinion that if I was voting, it would be very hard for me to look at those two and say that a coach that was 0-2 against Coach Willard and was 500 overall in league, did not win one game against the other top 4 teams in the league, or other 3 teams in the league because they were fourth, is the coach of the year. And in fact, I'll say this, until the last week of the season, I think Chris Holtman had a better case than Shaw, but that's a different topic. I promise I'm done. Shaw.
I'm gonna say one more thing because I did look this up because I was almost positive that their top players played at some schools that if I told you this at the beginning of the year, and this is the reason why they were picked last, is let's talk about that. AJ Staten McRae, he was transferred from Miami, but he played the majority of his time at Samford, okay, in the SoCon. That's the 11th or 12th best conference in the country. Then you have Tawan Simpkins, plays at Elon in the CAA. That's like the 13th or 14th best conference in the country. Then you have Bud Clark, who played at Merrimack, that plays in the NEC, a low major. And then I believe was the other one was at Rice. The guy who kind of went crazy the last game, Jacob Dar, transferred from Rice. So again, another conference that no one ever heard of, and no one gives a shit about basketball at Rice, right? So you're talking about 3 of their major players. No, it's the truth. Like, I mean, come on. Rice wants to play baseball or football. Like, there's some really good baseball players that came out of Rice, some good football players that came out of Rice. You can't tell me that the San Francisco Treat is in Texas at Rice, playing good basketball. Stop it. So you had 3 of your top 4 players come from a mid-major, 2 mid-majors that can't even sniff the Big East, and then a low major. And you're going to win. You're going to tell me that collection of talent is going to win 10 games in the Big East. There's no fucking way that you would have thought that. I don't care if it was Dan Hurley, Rick Pitino, Phil Jackson coming in here and running the team. What Shaw did with this collection of talent, which is essentially to play like they're in the 1990s, basically, reconfigure the whole idea of what this looks like to win games in a really ugly, fucking muck it up fashion. You got to give him his flowers. If they did what, like, if you go to Villanova's roster, I guarantee you the transfers that they got and a collection of talent they got came from higher majors, more talent, all of that. So I'm sorry. I think that's just a part of college basketball now. If you're bringing in guys from lower levels and you're winning in the Big East, to a level of you're in the top half. That to me rates more than, well, if we just put my guys against your guys and we just drew it up, the better coach is the other guy. Like, that's not fair. Like, that's just not how it works. And clearly the coaches agreed with me because, like, it's incredible. It's incredible that you could tell me that Seton Hall, picked 11th in the league, is going to finish 4th, maybe get a bid in the NCAA tournament if they beat St. John's, or be on the bubble. If they're the last team out or whatever, fine. I think it's a good year.
Okay, let me just try to one more point, because I
thought you were done.
I was,
Say something bad about
but then you said something else that really got me.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
How many games did Villanova lose in regular season conference play?
What are you talking about?
Villanova, how many games did they lose? 5.
Okay.
Who'd they lose to? UConn twice, St. John's twice, Creighton once.
Okay.
Flip it to see. So they beat.
They also have no wins over the NCAA tournament field.
Villanova?
None. No at-large teams, right? They have no wins over an at-large team.
Pretty good.
That's fine.
They haven't lost anybody bad though.
I'm talking about I'm just talking about conference play.
Okay, I'm just saying you're talking about, coaches and expectations.
Here's the point I'm making. Now flip that to Seton Hall, who was 500 in league.
Yep.
Okay.
With less talent.
Yeah, but okay, all that's fine. But I'm just saying, who did Seton Hall lose to? And when you start looking at the teams that they lost to DePaul, right? Which Villanova beat both times. They lost to Butler by double digits at home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They lost to DePaul twice. I'm cheating because I'm looking at it on my phone. Okay. Like you start looking at it like that. And to me, it tells a broader story of their body of work only in conference play. Again, I sound like I'm just hating. I'm not. I guess maybe I'm just saying head to head. I think Coach Willard did a better job between whatever the date conference play started till the voting, and that's where I would have voted. So, anyways,
I think you're just salty that Seton Hall finished above Creighton. I think that's what it comes down to.
Oh, absolutely, I am. But I still, yeah, I'm just trying to build my case. That's all. Which is irrelevant because they're not making it the Casey Matthews Coach of the Year award. So who cares?
Not yet.
We should do the Casey Matthews Coach of the Year award at some point, and then you can present it to Kevin Willard. I'm sure he'll be really excited about it. And I think Matt Janis and David White would be humbled to have you on, and you can present it to them, and maybe they can tell them.
That sounds fantastic. Well, fellas, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Big shock.
I'm just kidding. Kind of
full circle.
Any more basketball talk? No, but dude, this was awesome, and I cannot wait to see this. And I really feel like I'm not going to know until I know what tonight's going to be like. Like, I have not fully processed what this environment's going to be like. I can't wait for more shenanigans. We're not even halfway through. We have not even started day 3 of 4 days. Can't wait to see what's going to happen, man. Can't wait.
If you guys are around tonight and I'm awake and I can do the live show, I will ready to rock. If my kids aren't being terrorists like they usually are around that time, I will be ready to rock and do a live reaction show. But I don't know. Just if Seton Hall, if you're going to upset St. John's, just do it in regulation. Don't give me this overtime shit where UConn plays like an hour after they're supposed to start. Or if St. John's are going to win, just win by 100 and like get that false sense.
It won't be close.
Give me St. John. If St. John's wins by 100, good. Give them that false sense of security where they're invincible. I love it. I'm here for it.
Well, if Seton Hall wins, I mean, will Casey be mentally able enough to do a show?
No, because then he'll. I mean, if Kevin Willard comes on with him, I think that's when we'll do the show. Like, hey, I'm coming with my Coach of the Year to talk about Seton Hall being in the Big East Finals. Kevin, what do you think about tonight's game? Oh wait, you lost to Georgetown. I'm so sorry. What was that? Wait, what'd you say? What? You have a 5-star point guard and Seton Hall brought their point guard from Merrimack. What'd you say?
Seton Hall. I hope for Shah's sake they find a way to win today and get his second all-time Big East tournament victory, and his first victory this year against a top team in the league. I hope.
Hey, Coach Willard, what do you think about you haven't beaten a team in the at-large field? Do you think you're securely in the NCAA tournament?
I'm not. Hey, listen. I am not a
Hey,
Kevin
Coach
Willard
Shaw,
homer.
did you beat NC State, who's like a 9 or a 10 seed in the tournament early in the year? How do you feel about that win? Maybe it propels you to the NCAA tournament. What do you think? I think it absolutely does. Thank you very much.
Listen, that's fine. I'm really not trying to be a hater. I'm not, but you know,
doing a very good
But
job.
you are.
No,
You're doing a great
it's-
job of it.
This is the Big East, and this is what we need. We need differentiating opinions, and
I think I'm making a good case. People in the comments, you can tell me. I can take it all. I want to know what people think about the case that I made.
we might have to do a poll. We might have to do a Big East Energy poll and see who's the
fine.
people's coach of the year is.
Well,
We know who Casey says.
yeah, they're gonna go with what the mass media wants to tell you. I get it, but
The mass media, yeah, me.
everybody
There's always a narrative. Mark controls the media.
I control the media, absolutely. Yeah.
Mark controls the media and the narrative. Controlling the media.
Really quick before we go, you guys don't think I'm like wild and whatever, but last week before all these tournaments started, I saw the Big 12 glass LED court. Okay.
Yeah.
And here locally in Greensboro, there's a really something that people watch all the time or listen to all the time on the radio. It's called Two Guys Named Chris. And I called up about it and I said, I guarantee you, because I've heard from a couple of journalists that cover the Big 12 that court is going to be slippery and people are going to get hurt. And I swear to God, dude, I hate that I'm right about that, but I knew that shit was going to go bad.
How long has glass been slippery?
Well, I mean, like they tried to put that, like, you know, like you ever been to a gym that has that, like, it's like a multi-purpose court. That's what it kind of looks like, where it's like the LED is over it
Like
and
the
they put those
linoleum
little
thing?
grippies. Yeah, these little grippy like things. I saw the CEO talking about it, which sucks for his company because it's probably going to go in the tank. But like, it's one of those things where it's cool to look at, but like, why are we doing shit like that? I am so glad that the Big East doesn't do stupid shit like that, because I mean, come on, man. Like, you really want your top 4 teams? Was it Iowa State, Houston, Arizona, and who else is playing in that in the Final Four of that?
Not Cincinnati.
Definitely not Cincinnati. But like they literally are tearing it up and putting a regular court on.
It's insane. I mean, I would love to know how big of a bath that was. That's nuts. And me and Casey actually are going to be shocking. Casey disagrees with you on this. But before I let them argue,
You love the court?
Oh, yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom.
I've been on it actually and played on it, and I love it. I think the whole thing is total
Did you slip?
BS. No,
Did you
it's
go
not.
down the
It's
court?
not slippery. They've poured water on it in front
Bro.
of me. I'm telling you, and listen, I've actually physically been on the court. This
With
is
Kevin
Then why are
Willard.
they changing it?
because one player slipped. started
That's not
whining
true.
about it.
It's not
Yes,
one
it is.
player. What about the fucking kid who got the migraine because you're going blinky lights? Like, what the hell are we doing here? It's a
Then-
basketball game.
then-
That's a fucking
Then he needs
circus.
to wear a sleep mask over because there's LEDs all over the world.
Bro,
So what are we going to
but
do? in
on the
Times Square?
court?
We're going to take. No, what I'm saying is it's not slippery. I've physically been on the court and with a basketball. I swear to God, I'm trying.
Casey,
to
I
find
love you,
pictures.
but the explosion that you move around on the court on versus a player at that level is
In all
totally
fairness,
different.
but listen, they have
Come
a
on.
lab in Orlando that NBA teams go and practice in, and they love it.
And they can change the court whenever they want.
They love it. The entire women's team played the tournament there, no issues. It was a player that slipped, and it's like anything else. You make excuses when something goes wrong, and now enough people get on this narrative. You have your favorite Jeff Goodman tweets about it, and then it's
my boy.
It becomes a whole thing.
Your guy.
I think it's crap. I think it's just a cop out. At the end of the day, the Big 12 took a chance on doing something cool, and because
I think it's
they're facing
cool. Like,
some
don't get me wrong.
online
I think that
backlash, they caved.
that part is cool, but I also appreciate them. I don't know, listening to like
Yeah.
Bill Self even said it. He was just like, it's just a different surface. Like, regardless of whether he, like his team's in the Final Four. Like, it's not like in the Big 12. It's not like they're
Right.
they lost and he's making excuses. He just was like, yeah, it's kind of a different surface. I really would appreciate it if they actually had a real basketball court, because that's what you're going to play on in the fucking tournament. What are you?
Casey's showing me a video, and it looks like he's like on his back. He looks like he fell over. I mean, it's just no, it's super cool. Actually, I'm pro court, but it would be different if you're a player. It's like going to a new arena where
Or
the
are you
backdrop
playing
is different.
When all of us are in Indianapolis and you're playing in the Final Four at Lucas Oil Stadium this year, are they doing an LED court?
Well, here's
Just
and
answer that
I think
question.
that's fair. No. They're definitely not. I don't think.
Why would you do it?
I don't think that the Big 12 should have been the first league to do this. That's what I think. I think they should have started with a smaller league
The Fun Belt.
that would get more publicity from this, that would matter more for their league. Let them kind of work out some of the kinks and figure it out. But I can also tell you this, and again, I have a little bit of inside knowledge on this because I actually know the guy, and this was tested thoroughly. All the, I don't know if what do you call them, scientists, engineers, they have all the data that shows it's actually less slippery than a hardwood floor. In their lab, I walked from their court to a regular court because they have both courts in their lab. It is more like grippy on the glass floor than it is on the hardwood court. I'm just telling you, like, I get it. I'm okay being the contrarian here. What I think it is that human nature is to say something new. Different. We don't like it. Mm-hmm. I get that. That's why I think you should have started with the smaller league that would have just been happy to have the publicity instead of a league like the Big 12, which is a lot of people regard as the best basketball league in the country right now. And then you're just asking for trouble. If the slightest thing goes wrong, it's on ESPN.
What about
all these people?
I don't have a problem with that take, but I will ask you, like, what about the like essentially like in the middle of the game, the referees like putting tape on parts of the court that were breaking. Like, that doesn't happen on a hardwood court.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this probably needed to be vetted a little bit longer. But you know what? It's a company. They're trying to make a name for themselves. I'm sure they have a ton of investors that they're trying to make some money back, quickly. I don't know. I don't know all the inside details of the financial part of it. I just know from the data that I've seen, from actually being on the court, it's not like it isn't like you're on ice. I promise you.
I totally understand that, but the counterpoint to that is the data maybe, or the science may be settled for them, but the reality is, like, when you put it in a real world situation outside of just the testing phase, it has to be perfect or it's not going to work out. Like, that to me is wait, let me just finish.
Then in fairness, then if that's because I do agree, I agree. But if that's the case, think about this even further. Think about how much money is on the line for these individual players.
Sure.
So if that's the case, then the Big 12 should take some responsibility.
1,000%
for agreeing to play on this court, because they should have done their research, right? That tells me that the research was done, and that all the data
wasn't done. It's that they didn't do enough of the beta testing of, like, let's say, like, if you're gonna plan to do this for the Big 12 tournament, or whoever decides to do it, you need to have at least a game or two in each of these stadiums, like, play on this type of court and have it installed in, your favorite place, Cincinnati, there, at whatever they play at, or have them. Maybe they wouldn't do it at Allen Fieldhouse, but like another kind of arena that they play in constantly, and then look at the data and, like, get feedback from the players. Like, are we good? We're good. We're good for the Big 12 tournament. Cool.
Like you said, and also too, I don't even know if I would be the slippery. I mean, I think it would just be a little bit distracting as a player. Like, there's lights over here and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not even just how slippery the surface is to me. It's a novelty. It's something new. I'm sure the players
so
are kind
cool
of
to look at, but we're so enamored with, like, the new shiny objects that we forget, like, this is just basketball. I think that's my biggest takeaway from all of this is, like, yeah, could you make excuses? I slipped, blah, blah, blah. But, like, the court was literally breaking, like, as well. So to me, it's not necessarily about, oh, well, we tested it and it's less slippery than, like, a hardwood court. Yeah, but you're familiar with the hardwood court. You know that you're going to slip if it gets slippery, or, like, if it's, you guys have seen this. If you're playing pickup, guy comes with the mop and kind of, sweeps it up, so it's got a little more tacky for everybody to run around in. I get it, but it's like, it's not about it being new. It's about it not being vetted completely. Like, I'm sure the data showed that it was, but, like, they didn't test it with actual, like, college explosive players, like, in a live setting, like, in a game that matters. And then you're just going to throw it in the Big 12 tournament where a bid is on the line. That's ridiculous.
That's where I disagree, because
why did they do it other places?
Yeah, this court's
where did it matter?
I think it's in Greece. There's a professional league but you can't say that. But dude, it's still basketball. It's professional basketball.
But it doesn't matter to these players.
The best Greek team is playing on this court. I don't know how to. I won't even try to pronounce the name of it.
You should try. That'll be part of the bit. Go ahead.
No, but in all seriousness,
put it up on the screen.
They're playing on this court, and they've been playing on it. I think the data says what it needs to, that it's perfectly safe, that yes, do they have some issues? Yeah. And should they take accountability for it? 100%. Should the Big 12? Yes. But I think it's a cop out. And I think that it's just an easy way to say, oh, you know what? I'm nervous that I made a mistake here. So let me just switch back to the other court so that I cover my bases in case anything else goes wrong in these next two days of my tournament. Do I understand it from if I was the commissioner of the Big 12? Yeah, you're trying to cover your ass a little bit. Okay, that's fair. But at the same time, I guess I just have a hard time as from a business perspective. These dudes are getting killed right now, and who knows if their business is going to survive from this. And I don't think that's fair.
No,
So.
that part is just the unfortunate thing about, and I know a little something about this. When you put yourself out there and you create something, and some people are going to shit on it, some people are going to love it, and unfortunately, when it's in a high profile situation, you have to have all of your your ducks in a row, or you have to have a really thick skin and kind of move forward. So if they're testing this all over the world and it's working out, it should be fine. But they probably should have done this for the Big 12 before the tournament. That's all I'm saying. Forget about Greece. Forget about other places. They should have done this in the beginning of the season with some Big 12 teams. Like, hey, we're just going to put in a court. Not going to charge you. We got to test this a couple more times to make sure. But and I don't know anything about these guys or about their business model, but in the effort to kind of get that exit that they probably want, or to kind of put their valuation up higher, maybe they rushed this a little bit. That's my opinion based off of what we're seeing.
The other side of this too is that Big 12 teams, UCF is obviously in the Big 12. When Big 12 teams go to play UCF, they've been going to their lab and practicing on their court. So these teams have experience on the court already, and you heard nothing negative coming out of this. Everybody was raving about it. Again, it's not a game situation. I do understand that. There's other factors at play. But I just think it's a little unfair to just completely – I'm not saying you're doing this, but the league seems like they're just throwing this company under the bus.
Oh, dude.
Instead of a statement saying, hey, look, like we still believe in the future of this. We're having some issues in our facility with the floor. We're going to switch back out of an abundance of caution, but by no means do we think this is unsafe. But it's just I don't know, something of that. I'm not a lawyer, but I just think
I play one on TV.
Yeah. But it just seems like this company, which again, it's their product. So it is, they have to be the one that ultimately bears the responsibility. But I don't know, it just sucks because I do think that steps were taken. I just think they should have done this in a different league to start with. But then again, another league isn't going to have the money.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So
I might have to agree to disagree on this one. I also wanted to give a shout out to our friends at Home Field. I would love to get a promo code, Mark. KC Hates Hall for 15% off your order. KC Hates Hall for 15% off your first order.
No, it's you know what it is? It's Kevin Willard. Like that's the Kevin Willard Coach of the Year, COY.
COY Willard.
That's the promo code.
Off.
You get 100% off because it's never happened.
I got to get my Creighton Home Field apparel because on at some point for a show because I keep talking about it and not wearing it. But I
got this for you right here. This is the 1999 championship UConn We Shocked the World T-shirt with the Khalid El-Amin T-shirt. Just because I have so many home field shirts, you can't pick one. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there.
Yeah, well, anybody listening still don't use Kevin Willard promo code. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. I want to know how many people will use Kevin Willard as a promo code.
Yeah, I would use
K-Dubs. Just K-Dub.
I'll be the only one on the site. Like Kevin, it's not working.
Why isn't Kevin Willard working? Because he didn't win the fucking award. That's why.
All right, Mark. Hey, we gotta have enough time to download this and get it up.
Good luck
before the game, so we better roll. But have a great day. Go St. John's. Go Hall. Go Huskies. Go Hoyas. Go everybody.
Go Huskies.
I'm team everybody. So, all right, we'll be at the arena tonight. Hopefully, get some content. Halftime, we'll see, or not halftime after the first game, and then if depending on how late that second one is, hopefully we'll see you again tonight.
Sounds good. All right, boys. Be good.
See you.